So let's talk about a wall in North Portland, Oregon. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's just a wall, right? But this isn't just about a mural. This is about what happens when a whole community takes a hard look at its own official history, sees who's been left out, and decides, you know what? We're going to pick up the paintbrushes ourselves and create a story that's more honest, a story for everyone.
This became their North Star, their rallying cry. A simple but incredibly powerful idea. History belongs to all of us. And this wasn't just some catchy slogan, you know? It was a deep philosophy that would shape every single decision they made from that moment on.
So what got this whole incredible project started? Well, it all began with another mural, one from the 1930s that was actually hidden away from public view. And its discovery really sparked a conversation about whose history gets remembered and whose gets forgotten.
Let's hop in the time machine, right? We're going back to 1936. As part of the New Deal's public arts program, a mural called Building of St. John's gets painted by an artist named John Ballator. The whole point was to celebrate the founders of the neighborhood. But fast forward to the 2020s, and the building's new owners cover the whole thing up. So why'd they do that?
Well, that mural was basically a time capsule of its era, the 1930s. A time of deep segregation, of sexism, and the art totally reflected that. The community's celebrated heroes, they were almost all white men. The artist, John Ballator, actually added the only woman and person of color to the scene, and here's the thing, they weren't even real historical people. It was history with these huge, gaping holes in it.
And here's the bottom line. The building's new owners felt that celebrating this whitewashing of history, as they called it, just went against everything they believed in. So covering up that mural, that was a big statement. It was them saying, this version of the past, it's not acceptable anymore.
And that's when the Peninsula Odd Fellows Lodge steps onto the scene. They're a local community group, and they were already planning a mural of their own to celebrate their building's 100th anniversary. But then they heard the story about the covered-up mural, and suddenly their little project completely transformed. It wasn't just going to be a celebration anymore. It became a full-blown mission to actively correct what history had missed.
It turns out they found a powerful model for how to heal and include everyone right inside their own organization's history.
It's this philosophy they call the double odd movement. See, historically, the Odd Fellows were segregated into separate black and white lodges. But to heal that divide, instead of just merging everything together and erasing those unique cultures, members started joining both orders. The point wasn't to make everyone the same. It was about facing a divided past while actively celebrating each other's heritage. And that became the perfect principle for the mural. Don't erase the old story, add to it.
And this right here brings us to the most remarkable part of this entire story. The mission wasn't just about painting some new faces on a wall. It was about getting the community, especially people with a direct, personal connection to the history being told, to hold the brushes themselves.
This is where that whole idea of adding, not erasing, becomes so literal and so beautiful. The project leaders actually found the family of John Ballator, the artist of that original 1936 mural. And in this amazing act of tribute, his own descendants came and painted his portrait into the new mural, physically bridging the past and the present.
And the personal connections just keep getting deeper. Take Sohan Singh Bhakna. He was a hero of the anti-colonial Ghadar movement. What's absolutely wild is that this movement was born right there, in St. John's, after a racist riot against Punjabi workers way back in 1910. So when it was time to paint his portrait, his own descendants and folks from the local Sikh community picked up the brushes, directly honoring a fight against an injustice that happened right on their own streets.
The story continues with Reuben Crawford, a true pioneer and leader in Portland's black community. Now just think about this for a second. The people who came to paint his portrait were members of the exact same Odd Fellows Lodge that he helped found all the way back in 1884. This wasn't just painting a picture. They were literally painting their own founder's legacy into the fabric of their neighborhood.
And then there's the story of Thomas Monahan. He started out as a streetcar conductor and worked his way up to become this key civic leader who championed the building of the St. John's Bridge. So who painted him? Today's Portland streetcar operators. The staff and operators all came together to honor one of their own, connecting the work they do today directly to a legacy from a century ago. The Sitton family was painted by students from the elementary school that's named after them. The founder of the Portland Police Sunshine Division was painted by the current police liaison to that very division. And the iconic St. John's Bridge and all the scenery, well, that was painted by neighborhood kids, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts. Literally everyone had a part to play.
So, finally, all of these individual, really heartfelt contributions had to be woven into one single work of art. And the finishing touches, the details that bring it all to life, were added by artist Claudia Gay, who grew up right there, and her 97-year-old mother, Joan, who happens to be the lodge's oldest member, a mother and daughter, deeply rooted in the community, tying it all together.
But the project's mission doesn't just stop when the paint dries. This mural was designed to be much, much more than a static image on a wall. It's meant to be a living, breathing, educational tool for the entire community. Inside the Oddfellows building, there's a museum exhibit that tells the deeper stories of all these heroes. And for anyone who can't be there in person, they've created this incredible online resource that brings the history to life for anybody, anywhere.
And this interactive virtual mural is really something special. You can go online and click on any person, any building, any object in the painting, and just dive deep into its history. And it goes even deeper than that, including the 9,000-year history of the indigenous people of the land. It's a real commitment to telling the most complete story possible and making that history accessible to absolutely everyone.
So in the end, this is so much more than just a painting on a wall. It's a statement. It's a statement that a community's history is always richer and always more complex than the official version we're sometimes given. It's an affirmation that history truly belongs to all of us. And so the project now poses a question to everyone. Will you join us in sharing the story of North Portland's diverse, forgotten heroes?